My name's Jere Colley. I'm a veterinarian in Opelika, Alabama. A lot of times people ask me, they say, well, how can a veterinarian stay up all night doing a C-section, saving a dog's life, and the next morning go out and trap coyotes? Well, if you look at the statistics, up to 40% of all baby deer born every year are killed by coyotes in Alabama. Up to 60% of all the baby turkeys are killed by coyotes. And when you look at those percentages and what damage the coyote does within the state to our natural resources, I think getting rid of coyotes is a pretty big deal. On the other hand, I just enjoy trapping. When, somebody told me one time, they said, it's a whole lot harder to get the smartest animal in the woods to step on a trap this big than it is to take a 30-06 with a high-powered scope and go kill a deer at 100 yards, or take a turkey and shoot him at 50 yards with a shotgun. So I believe a lot of that. Another good thing about trapping is you're moving. Sometimes when you're turkey hunting, sometimes when you're deer hunting, you just get bored. Just get bored. Another thing is it's great to do with kids, because kids get bored in the deer stands and kids get bored when they're turkey hunting. But you put them on a four-wheeler, you go track 30, 40 traps in the morning. It's fun, and it's something that I really enjoy doing. But I know some people have trouble with it, and I can understand where you're coming from. I really can. I started trapping when I was probably around 8 years old. Through the years, I have changed my procedures. I'm not an expert. Let me tell you this, I'm not an expert. Everything I've learned, I've talked to the old timers, or I've experienced myself. A lot of people will disagree what I'm going to say today. A lot of people have tried what I'm going to tell you, and they say, hey, it doesn't work. And I've tried a lot of things other people have told me, and it didn't work. So today I'm going to just go through some of the procedures that I do. All right, let's start off with the gloves. Yes, I always wear gloves. What I found out, when you put a trap out, it usually takes about 3 to 4 days for the coyotes to really and truly start coming to it. So don't get discouraged if you put a trap out and don't catch anything the next day. I think no matter if you wear gloves or not, the smell, you're going to have the smell of yourself on it, and there's just really no way to totally get that off. I always use these knee pads. I put these on for two reasons. Number one, it saves my britches and my knees, but the main thing is it helps with the odor. And all it is just something that painters use. You can get them at Lowe's and stuff. And this just helps as far as the odor control goes. Let's start over here, Rex. Okay, it's good to keep 2 pair of gloves. Now, let me say this. When you trap, don't be in a hurry. That's important. And I'm the world's worst because I got awful patience. But it's always important to set your traps with 1 set of gloves. And then what you do is, when you start dealing with the bait, you take these gloves off, you put on another pair of gloves. Because if you ever get bait on your trap itself, or if you ever get bait on the screen I'm going to show you in a minute, what'll happen is you'll come back to your trap and the trap will be dug up, because the coyote's going to go dig before he gets in the trap. So that's something that you always remember, but it takes time to change gloves. Okay, let's start off with some of the equipment we use here. Let's start off with the trap. That's the most important. I get all my stuff from Minnesota Trapping Company. Talked to a guy there named Jeff. He couldn't be any nicer. The prices are good. The trap runs around $24, $25. This is the only trap I'd ever use right here. You can get cheaper traps. After you catch 1 or 2 coyotes, you don't tear them up. So I would only go with the MB 550. It is a very well-made trap. The only time I've ever had one torn up is when gets run over by a bulldozer. As far as the stakes go, I've tried the rebarbs, I've tried the wire, I've tried just about everywhere you can stake, and this is the only thing I do right here. This stake right here. And the way you do it, you can either take either one of these right here and tie the stake to the trap. My favorite is this right here, in that there's no way in the world a coyote's gonna get off that. So what I do is I take the boat, and I've got 2 of them here, so I don't need that one right there. And this bolt right here goes inside this, and then just take these pliers here, special pliers for this, and you bend that down, and there's no way in the world a coyote's gonna get out of that. Well, the thing I like about this so much is this chain stake right here. Once I catch a coyote, I just put a tag on it. I just put a red ribbon on it, and that way I go put my trap somewhere else, take the trap off, leave this in the ground right here, and I'm gonna show you in a minute how to do it. And then this stays in the ground forever. They cost about $3 or $4 a piece. If I want to pull them up, I can pull them up, but if I don't want to, I can leave it in the ground for years and years, and that way I don't have to go beating into the ground to put the stake there. And when you get my age, anything you do easy is always a little bit better. You can use this right here. It's real easy. The swivel right here, you can put it on and off. The problem with this right here, if somebody comes and ever sees your trap, all they got to do is take that and they can take your trap. And also these things, after a year or two, I found out they kind of get all rusted. So I like the S-bolt a lot better than I do that right there. This is a very, very important part of the trapping process right here. This right here, to get the dirt, and again, you don't see me do it in a minute, to siphon the dirt through. You'll see me do that in just a minute. The wire, some people rather use wire than they have the chain. I like the chain a whole lot better. This goes on your knees, saves your knees. Hey, another thing, trapping in Alabama is so much different than trapping in Missouri or places like that. So whenever you do trap, be sure and use rubber boots. Anything you can do to eliminate odor. But again, now it's gonna take 3 or 4 days for your odor to go away. So if you don't catch a vomit within 3 or 4 days, don't think you're doing something wrong. Down here, it usually takes that long. And a lot of times down south, when you're setting traps, you're sweating. That ain't good, but still, that's one of the parts of trapping in Alabama. Okay, let's move on over here. The bone, I brought this up here for the reason to tell you there's more than one way to set a trap. I personally like the dirt hole. That's what I'm gonna show you in just a minute. Some people like the post set. You just take a bone like this, and remember, a dog likes a bone. A coyote is a dog. You take that, you put it in the ground about 6 inches, you put traps on either side of it, you take some of this lure and some of this bait I'm gonna go over with you in a few minutes, you rub it on here, you spray it with some urine. The male coyote comes by, what's a dog gonna do when he comes to a bone that's sticking up in the ground? He's gonna come try to pee on it, and when he does, he's gonna get his foot caught in the trap. I don't like it because I just hadn't had as much success with it as I do the dirt hole, but I still use it. And I have caught coyotes with it, but still it's not my favorite. I brought my wax. Whenever I move my traps from one place to another one set of land to another set, I just feel like I need to clean my traps up. You're talking about some awfully smart animals when you're talking about coyotes, bobcat, fox, coons. I go to the car wash, I take my traps, I go to the car wash, put $1 in, clean my traps off real good. Then I go and I take this wax. Again, you can get this from Jeff at Minnesota Trapping Company or any other trapping company. Put it on one of these turkey cookers that you can get at Walmart. Once it starts boiling, stick your traps in there for 8 or 10 seconds, pull it out. The wax puts a coat on the trap where they can't smell, and it works real good. Be careful though, because this wax is flammable now, and if it gets too hot, it can burn you, so be real careful. I just let it start sizzling a little bit, boiling a little bit, put my trap in there, pull it out. When you do it, hang your trap after you put, because if you don't, the wax will coagulate on the trap. So always hang your trap on a fence or on a tree limb or something so that it will drip. This is just something I put, you'll see me in a minute doing it. You just put this on your trap to keep the dirt from going up under the trigger. It's just a little piece of wire here. You get 30 or 40 of these for $3 or whatever, and you'll see me use it in a minute, but this keeps the dirt from going up under the trap. There's something else over here that you can use. You can take this to do the same thing, though I like the wire the better. But you can take this right here and put this under the trigger. And what you're doing again is you're keeping dirt from getting under the trigger so that when the varmint steps on the trigger, he doesn't, or the plate rather, not trigger, the plate, it doesn't go, the dirt doesn't stop it from setting off. And it's just a little piece of styrofoam, I guess is what it is. Okay, Here's an instrument I like, don't use it very much. When I get traps in, so far every trap I've ever bought has been set perfect when I set it. But if I want to change the tension on the trap, you can put this on the trap plate and it'll tell you the tension. When I go trapping, my main thing I'm after is a coyote. If it's during season, catch a bobcat, that's good. Don't like coons. Coons will tear up turkey nest more than any animal I think that there is. Get rid of coons. A fox, I turn most of my fox loose. I don't know why. Fox are just animals I just have a hard time disliking. But you can set your trap where if a fox steps on it, it won't go off. But when a coyote steps on it, which is around, 30 pounds, it'll go off. Which is another interesting thing while I'm thinking about it. And everything I'm talking is just coming from my mind. This past year I caught 103 coyotes. Well, out of 103 coyotes, and this may be the veterinarian coming out in me, 81% of them had hookworms. 41% had heartworms. Not a one of them had dental problems. Every coyote I caught this year's teeth were a whole lot prettier than my teeth or your teeth. Probably from eating meat, eating bones, and all this kind of stuff. But I thought that was just pretty interesting. I like whenever I get them out of the trap, I draw blood, check them. I don't do all of them. I probably check 20-30% of the ones I caught. But they have hookworms and they have heartworms, but it doesn't seem to affect their lifestyle. Okay, going to the bait. This is real important. This is the part that the wives and the kids don't like, so just get used to it. If you ever don't want your wife messing with you, I tell you how you do it. You take a little bit of this urine and you spray it on you and come home at night, she ain't gonna mess with you. If you don't want to ride in your pickup truck, take a little bit of this coyote bait right here, just rub it around a little bit on the seat. You ain't got to worry about anybody riding with you. If you get somebody you really don't like, if there's anybody you just slap don't like, you take a little bit of this lure right here and just walk by their car and throw a little bit of it in the back seat and they'll sell their car the next day. So that's some free advice. Okay, you can buy coyote urine, you can buy coon, fox, you can buy urine from most anything. I don't think it makes any difference. Again, this may be the vet in me, but I keep a little pad when I go trapping. I keep it in my pocket and I tell what lure I use, what bait I use, what lure, everything I use. And really and truly, I hadn't seen much difference in coyote urine, bobcat urine, fox urine, coon urine. I hadn't been able to tell the difference. But what I do is after I set my trap, as I walk away from it, I squirt 2 or 3 squirts of urine there. And then every time I check my trap, which is every day, they should be checked every day, I don't even get off my four-wheeler if there's nothing in the trap. I just ride by my trap and I'll spray 2 or 3 sprays of the urine in there. And that way, that will attract any of the varmints right there. But that's just urine. You can buy it from Minnesota Trapping. You can buy it by the gallon, $26, $28 a gallon. Okay, this is the bait. My favorite is the Minnesota brand Hiawatha Valley. You can get all kind of baits by all kind of different bait companies. This one seemed like it's been the best for me. I buy it by the gallons. A gallon of it cost me $60, $80, I don't know. But and it lasts me about the whole year. I may go through 2 gallons of it a year, but it stinks pretty good. I'm not even sure what it is. I think it's just a lot of rats and maybe anal glands of skunks. I don't know. Okay, that's your bait. Now the bait goes up in the hole. You'll see it in a minute. The bait goes up in the hole. I take this right here. This is lamb hair, lamb wool. I take a little bit, about this much of it, and I'll take it, put a little bit of bait on there. I don't use any more than a tablespoon of bait, and then I stick it up in I'll take something like this and I'll just stick it up in the hole. The hole is anywhere from 3 inches to 10 inches. Depends on how soft the dirt is, to be honest with you. But I just stick this with the bait on it up into the hole. Show you in a minute. The lure. Don't overuse the lure. You know that old thing that if a little bit works pretty good, then a lot's going to work real good. That don't work with the lure. I think you can actually overdo the lure. Now the lure is much stronger than the bait. Don't get those confused. The bait you put up in the hole, or I do. The lure, I use about into my finger, not much more than a peanut amount, and I put it right above the trap, and that way the varmint will smell the lure, and he'll come and the lure will attract him, and then he'll smell the bait and he'll start digging for the bait. Most of my coyotes, you catch them with your front feet. Sometimes you catch them with the back feet. They'll back up and they'll dig. And I've got 3 different lures here, and again, I don't know if it makes that much difference, but these are the ones I've had the most success for in Alabama. Now, if somebody in Minnesota or Saskatchewan may say, nope, don't use that kind. This one is a yodel dog. Just the name of one, they all have different smells. This is a Violator 7. I like this in warmer weather, like right now it's spring in Alabama, I'd use this. This is Gusto. Gusto Strong. Don't get Gusto on you, and for goodness sake, don't get Gusto on the wife. Okay, peat moss. Gotta have peat moss, very important. Well, you put that screen on top of your trap, we're gonna do it in a minute, and then you put peat moss on top of it. Peat moss is because when it rains, dew and everything, the peat moss is real light and it won't get up under the trap, while dirt will literally get up under the trap. So just put peat moss on top. Doesn't take but just a handful. This much peat moss right here is all it takes on top of the trap. And then you take some dirt from the surrounding area, and then you use your, what I do with my, oh, here it is. And then we'll do that in a minute. You take this and put dirt on top of that. Okay, this is probably the best tool I got in the house. $25, $30, I don't know. Unless you lose it, it ain't no break. I try to paint everything I got orange because I'm bad about losing things. I like a four-wheeler better than a side-by-side because I can get where I want to go and get back in a hurry. And like I say, I'm always in a rush, which ain't good when it's trapping. But if you're not careful, you'll leave these things, they'll fall out the back. You'll leave them at each trap site. So paint them orange. My paint's about to come off. Whenever you finish your trap, once you're through with everything, you put your lure out, you put your urine out, don't ever walk away. Stand there, make yourself stand there for 30, 45 seconds and just look at the trap. If you don't like it when you look at it, reset it. Because if you don't like it, that coyote show ain't gonna like it. And another thing about it is, you don't leave these instruments laying around. If there's an instrument laying around, then you go to the next trap and you ain't got it, and then you get mad at yourself, and then you come back and you try to hunt for it, and then if you don't go get it, the coyote show ain't gonna come to the trap if you got that laying beside it. So always double your trap, check your trap. Okay, this right here, I don't think I went over this. This goes into this to drive it into the ground. This is, I have used rebarb, I have used wire. This is just the easiest. It's just the easiest. And I can leave this into the ground for years and years, and if you don't trap the same place year after year, it's a lot easier than having to beat it into the ground. Speaking of trapping a place year after year, some people ask me sometimes, can you trap a place out? Yeah, you can trap a place out. I've got an area about 20 miles from my house that last year I caught over 50 coyotes there, and this year I've caught 12 or 13 there. So yeah, you can trap them. You can trap it out, which is good and bad. It's good because it's helping as far as predators go. It's bad because you don't catch as many varmints. Okay, Rex, let's move over here to the trap and actually set us a trap ourselves. How's that sound?
Sounds good.
All right, let's set the trap, guys. We've got the trap. We've got your bar here. Take the bar, stick it inside, put it in the ground. I just put mine in the middle of the hole. I've already dug a little hole out here now. I did it before the camera started because I want to make sure there wasn't roots. If there are roots, you got to move roots and you got to move rocks. Rocks can mess you up in a hurry. All right, take it, beat it into the ground. Not much to it. Of course, I pick soft dirt. Make y'all think I'm strong. All right, there's no way in the world a varmint's gonna get that thing out of the ground. He just ain't gonna get it out of the ground. Now, I can use this pole later on and get it out of the ground, but he's just not gonna get that out of the ground. All right, now most men can take this trap and they can set it with their hands. I used to could do that. I'm 66 years old, I can't do it anymore. So what I do is, I just set the trap with my foot. And you'll be able to hear it. This trap, this MB 550, you'll hear it when it clicks. Now let's be real quiet. You hear that? That means it's set. That means it's ready to go. Okay. Then what I'll do is take it and I will put the chain on in the ground, put a little bit of dirt on the chain, and I put the trap. I like to put it personally about a foot from the hole. All right, the problem is I ain't dug the hole yet, so bear with me. I've already dug the hole to put the trap, but I dig a hole about an inch, inch and a half up in the bank. Now I like to put my trap where there's a little bit of incline right here. Also, if I had a choice, I'd love for it to be an old stump here or something that I could like. It looked like where a coyote would bury a piece of meat. See, the whole purpose of the way I trap here is, unlike the post set, where it's a male coyote peeing on the post, this, he thinks another animal has come in, dug a hole in the bank, and buried something, and then left. So what he's doing is he's coming back and smelling it, and he wants to dig it up. So what you do, you put a hole in the bank, about 2 inches, 3 inches in diameter, usually about 6 or 8 inches deep. All right, and then put the trap about a foot from the hole. All right, then you put one of the screens that I was describing to you a while ago, and just put the screen over the trap. Now some people say, well, should the trap face the hole? Should the trap not face the hole? I don't see it makes a bit of difference in the world, but you do need the screen. Now, you can make your own screen. You could just use tinfoil if you want to. I know a lot of people just use tinfoil. Right, then you take a little bit of peat moss, just a handful, put it on top of the trap. And that's when it rains, the peat moss ain't gonna get all up under the trap and keep it from closing like it would if it was dirt. All right, then what I'll do is take this dirt here, put it in my pan, and I'll cover it. Now, I made a mistake and I messed up just then. Very important, I don't do good in front of cameras, very important. I should have packed the trap before I did it, real important. You go in here and you've got to set this trap where when that varmint steps on the metal, instead of he stepping on the trigger or plate, that trap does not move. This is one of the most important things, because if he steps on that metal there and he feels it move, he's gone. He's smart. He ain't no dummy. So you've got to just take the dirt, put it around the edge of the trap. People say, well, you ever got your finger caught in there? Yeah. Does it hurt? Yeah. Do you talk ugly? Yeah. But it didn't cut it off anything. And my traps are offsetting. My traps are not the traps that go all the way. The metal doesn't go all the way down. So if I catch a dog, or if I want to release an animal and it's during, say I catch a bobcat, and cat season's not in, I can release him without hurting him. And it pinches him, I'm sure it hurts, but it doesn't break his foot or anything. So that's the advantage of checking every day, and also the fact that you should always carry a release pole, because if you catch something that you don't want in that trap, you need to be able to put it around his neck and release him. Sooner or later, if you trap enough, you're gonna catch somebody's dog. For goodness sakes, try to trap far enough, because if you got a house within a few hundred yards of you, you know catch man's dog, and that does make people mad. Always let people know you're trapping, all the landowners and everybody, not just who you're on, but all the landowners, because you catch somebody's dog, and even though it's not breaking his foot, when he goes home, he's gonna be limping. It's gonna be obvious he's been in a trap. So always carry a catch pole, put it around his neck, open the trap, let him go. But pack this trap, pack the trap real good. And then you come in here, and you put dirt on top of it. Okay, then what I'll do is just get a stick, just something like that, and I'll smooth it out. That they're not going to stand. If you got a mound of dirt on top of the trap, he ain't going to stand on it. He ain't going to step on it. So this needs to all be level. Actually, there should be dirt in here too, so that all of this right here should be just perfectly level. Okay, now, I've got my trap, I've got my peat moss, I've got dirt on top of it, I've got my 2-inch hole. My hole is about 6 inches deep. Then what I do is come over here and get to the fun part. If odor bothers you, you don't need to trap. Okay, get out a little bit of bait. Doesn't take much. I actually got a spoon somewhere. Put the bait on the trap. Okay, I broke another cardinal rule. I did not change gloves. I should have changed gloves, but due to time, I ain't gonna do it. But when I started messing with that bait, I should have changed gloves, because you don't need to get bait on the same gloves that you put the trap on, because if you get that bait on that trap, he's gonna dig it out. Another thing I always do that just popped into mind is anytime I go by a mud hole, when I'm trapping, every time I go by a mud hole, I wash both pair of gloves off in that mud hole, and I always wear rubber boots. I get in the mud hole and I get my boots just as wet as I can get them wet, because that just eliminates odor that much more. If I catch a vomit and I've got the trap in my four-wheeler, I go to mud hole, I do my trap up and down, try to get all the blood and all the fur and all the mud and everything off of it. But then when I move from one area to the other, one set of land to the other, that's when I go to the car wash and I clean the traps up real good with the car wash, and that's when I put the wax on. All right, take this, stick the bait inside the hole, as far as it'll go, And then get you a little bit of lure. Now you think the bait stinks, the lure's gonna stink more. Take a little lure, different types of it, about a small peanut, just put it right above the top of it. All right, and then get your urine, spray the urine. All right, like I said, every time I check my trap from now on, every day when I check it, I come by and I spray urine. Just that. I don't mess with, the only time I will mess with the lure and the bait is if we have a tremendous rainstorm. I think the lure and the bait last at least 10 days, maybe 2 weeks there. Now, if I hadn't caught anything in 2 weeks and we've had a bunch of rain, I'll come back and reset all my traps. But that's pretty much it. There's a lot of variations. Now, some people don't like the dirt hole per se, and they don't like the way I've got it pegged to the ground. This right here I used for years and years. Tie this to your trap, just with a piece of wire, just a drag cable. Throw it over in the bushes, put a bunch of leaves on it, tie it to your trap, be sure it's covered up. When that vomit gets in the trap, he jumps, he starts running. Within 10, 15 steps, he's going to get hung up on a bush, he's gonna get hung up on a tree, something like that. I check a lot of my traps at night. When all my grandkids are gone to bed and ain't anybody around, I'll go get and start checking traps. You start checking a trap at 9 o'clock at night with a flashlight by yourself. You come to it and the trap's gone. You got your flashlight, you start looking around, and all of a sudden you look over there and all you see is 2 bright eyes and white teeth. It's just a little bit, I guess the sissy comes out in me. So I don't like the drag as much as I do knowing where my vomit's gonna be when I come to the trap. A lot of different things to do. I picked this up. This is just a skull, an old Coyote skull I found on the side of the road that I had trapped a long time ago. And I use a lot of turtle shells. You can take a little bit of lure, stick it up in this skull right here. Or you can take a turtle shell, old dead turtle shell, stick it up in there and stick this in the hole, or stick it even on top, and rain won't get to it. And that thing will last 3 or 4 weeks as long as it's not getting rain. Just smear lure and smear bait in there. Yeah, it's just a million different things you can do. And that's what makes trapping fun. Another thing I like to do. Okay, remember, a cat is curious. Bobcat likes that bone. You can take a CD, old CD the wife has, break it up, take this, hook it with fishing line, just some old 6-pound test fishing line, hang it from the tree. look at here what's gonna happen. That wind is gonna blow and blow and blow. When that cat comes by tonight at 11, 12 o'clock and you got a little bit of breeze and he's walking this area right here, he's gonna see that blowing. You know what that cat's gonna do? He's gonna come over here because he's curious. Then he gets in your trap. You take a CD, hook that CD. Just put the string through there, hook that CD. When you get just a little bit of breeze, that CD just starts flapping in the wind. Cat is 200 yards away. He can see good. He's gonna come over here. He's gonna check it out. You catch it. Take a turkey feather. Hang the turkey feather. Get a little bit of breeze, the exact same thing. As always, the trap, and my way is not the only way, and it's not even the best way. It's just the way that I have been successful, the things I found that work. Now we're at a point of we didn't catch anything. We want to move our trap. What do we do? How do we get the trap out of the ground? Well, the first thing I do is I just take my foot and stomp on it and set the trap off. People sometimes worry about hunters and stuff stepping on the trap. If a hunter steps on the trap, all it's gonna do is go off. It's not gonna hurt him or anything like that. And then I've got this trap puller right here. Again, Minnesota trapping, $25, $30. Take this, hook it on your chain, and pull your trap up, ain't anything to it. And then this one's got a little bit of mud on it. When I go to the car wash, I clean it off. Then I go and I wax it and go to the next place I want to set traps. So that's pretty easy to do right there. All right, guys, I hope what I've said made sense. But at my age, it's always good to have a cheat sheet. Some things I don't want to leave off. One thing is, don't try to make your own bait. I tried. At my vet clinic, I use cat urine from my vet clinic. I use cat food. I use rotten eggs. I've used fish. I've used deer and parts of deer. I've used it all for bait. It doesn't work. You end up just catching possums and possums and possums. Don't forget to carry the release pole, because eventually you don't catch a dog or an animal you want to let go. Be sure before you put that animal on your four-wheeler that he's dead. Last year, I had a coon. I shot the coon. I thought he was dead. Put him here. I was in a rush. Don't get in a rush. Went down the road about 100 yards. All of a sudden, the coon stands up like Rocky does and threw his chest out, and all I saw was his teeth. I rolled off the four-wheeler. The four-wheeler kept on going, hit a sweet gum tree down there. The coon jumped out and ran off. So be careful. Make sure because they can hurt you. An animal like that can hurt you. Let's see. Trapping in Alabama in the summer, one of the big problems with that is ants. So what I've learned that works better is in hot weather, I don't use bait. I just use a lure in both the hole and outside the hole, because fire ants in the summer in Alabama will pretty much tear you up. Guys, this is real important. I love trapping, and I just love the woods. But trapping, if you got two kids at home and you were planning on going turkey hunting the next morning and the kids kept the wife up all night, you can always tell the wife, hey, hun, I can't go. I'm not gonna go turkey hunting. I'm gonna stay here and look after the kids. Trapping, you can't do that. So make sure you got time, because these traps have to be checked every single morning, no matter if the kids are sick or no matter if the wife is upset. And a lot more important than trapping is looking after those kids you got at home, because they're the future. They're what it's all about. And if you spend time with them in the woods, I guarantee you when they get to be adults, they will not only be your child, they'll be your best friend. And that's what this is all about anyway. Have a good day. Thank you.